Hello guys, this is Dr. Lior Barel. Today we're going to be doing a video about, in a nutshell, about what is the best tool to use. Now you're talking to a guy that has the DJI Osmo, look at my channel, I reviewed it all, the DJI Ronin, and I have a Steadicam that I've been using for years. Now, a lot of people are asking, you know, you always go into wars with these stupid fanboys. Like I had this idiot who was saying, oh, you called DJI messed up. He probably works for DJI. I give my clients and everybody that watches my videos, I give them the truth, whether they like it or not. I don't really care. I do not like fanboys. I'm not a fanboy of anything. If it doesn't work, it's garbage. And I'm always honest with you guys. And I show you, you know, how it is. Like you're going to see my other video of how I'm walking with the DJI Ronin and the DJI Osmo with the Z-axis gimbal. And if it's true that, you know, because all of them, they do the walking test. They're like, look how it is before when they're holding the camera like this and they're shaking it and saying, this is now with the Osmo, it's very still. Guys, with the Ninja Walk, you'll do very, very nicely. So anyways, I'm going to tell you now something, all right? The thing is, the reason I would use, in a wedding especially, I would use if I had two people, I would use the Osmo, I would use the Osmo and a Steadicam, or the Ronin and the Steadicam. Now, in a wedding. But if I went alone, I would use strictly the Steadicam. Now, even if I'm doing guerrilla shooting, I would use the Steadicam over the Ronin and over the Osmo. The Osmo being because I think I'm going to get better shots with a better camera like the Blackmagic that shoots RAW over the Osmo 4K. But if you actually want to spend money on their RAW camera, I would shoot with the Osmo. But, you know, the thing is, the reason why if I'm doing guerrilla, I would always pick, or guerrilla shooting or weddings, I would always pick the Steadicam, is because the Steadicam is an easy unit to balance, for me at least. But also the thing is, I could throw it anywhere, it's waterproof, it doesn't have motors. With the other ones, motors go bad. So motors could die out on you, then what do you got? You got all your crew, all your actors, they're all ready to film, and you're screwed. And you know, you're gonna have continuity issues until you repair it and do it again. A lot of the places you can't get again, you're gonna have to do reshoots that are gonna cost you a lot. Or even guerrilla, you're gonna, you know, have to see who's gonna be available again. It's just the biggest nuisance ever. So always I go, when I do guerrilla shooting, if it's a controlled environment, like I go to a forest, I don't have to worry about you know, about time, I would always use the Ronin and I would use the Osmo, but I would always take my Steadicam with me just in case. Okay. Now the Ronins and the Osmo balances itself, but the Ronin, you need to know how to balance it. You need to know that it takes some time to get used to. There's a stand for it that you could always put it down, and it's great, and I love it. And I would use it for non-guerrilla shooting, like for my real films. I would use the Ronin almost all the freaking time, but I'd have always the Steadicam as a backup. Okay, but the Steadicam, I think everybody should have the Steadicam over the Ronin and over the Osmo, because it doesn't have motors, it doesn't die, it's waterproof, and it gives you the same kind of still shots. I mean, it really does. And you get yourself the vest, you get yourself the arm, and you're ready to go. And if you have a hard time balancing it, I totally get it. The Ronin and the Osmo, they have learning curves. The Osmo just does it automatically. So I get that. I mean, don't get me wrong. I totally get that. So I would do that probably if I was in your situation. But learn to use the Steadicam. Make that a craft of yours. Because the Steadicam, I've used it for so many years. Yes, it's heavy as hell. I use it, and it's just extremely heavy. But it gets the job done, and it's really good. And you could go extremely low with it. With the Osmo, you could too. You could go down. With the Ronin, you could go down. There's briefcase mode and all that. But like I said, you always have to have in the back of your head, there's another battery it takes that I have to charge. One of these days, you're going to screw up. You're going to go to a wedding without a battery, or something's going to happen. I mean, I always have my batteries with me. But things, I heard that shit happen before, you know. But let's say you're doing a wedding. One of your motors blow out. You have nothing else. What are you going to do? What the hell are you going to do? If you take an Osmo out, they're going to laugh at you and say, hi, I didn't pay for that. I paid for a good camera. I want RAW. I want, you know, because some people don't even know what RAW is, and I want RAW. Okay, but the thing is, you should always have a Steadicam with you. And if you had to pick between a Ronin, Osmo, and a Steadicam, I would totally go with a Steadicam over everything. The only reason I have all these is because I have a Steadicam. So I like to use, you know, in productions that I have full say on, and I'm in the forest and I'm not really doing gorilla, I'm taking my sweet ass time, I can balance it, I make it beautiful, and oh man, does it look good. But if something happens, I got that Steadicam always as a backup, you know. So you know, if I was going to a store now and I had nothing, I would go for a good Steadicam. That's what I really would do. So that's my judgment on the Coil. That's what I think would be best. Now, if you guys are ready to move on, you guys have one, and you're asking me if it's right to get a Ronin and an Osmo, yes. Of course, they're great tools. They're like a Phillips head screwdriver. The screwdriver came, and then Phillips head, they came out and wowed the entire world, and, you know, they're good. Yeah, it's just another tool. So take them both. And I wouldn't sell one to get the other. I'd keep them both. As the Steadicam is always going to work. You know, nothing's going to go bad about that. A good one, that is. I know there's some plastic shits out there, but you know, get a good one. And that's always going to be there as your backup, and you'll be fine. Anyways, that's what I think. Let me know what you guys think. Like, subscribe, dislike. Definitely subscribe. I want the channel to grow, and you're going to see a ton and ton. Look at the tons of videos, reviews that I already did about all the DJI products.